Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now this is going to be kind of a big video today. We are going to work with we've got the speedometer here. It is the Etched Speedometer and the classic sentiments, and this all goes with the car set from Spellbinders. We have got the classic car, we've got the timeless truck, and we've got the muscle car. And we're going to be working with all of these products today. Now I have die cut all of these automobiles out in a bunch of different colors already, and these are the ones I have not assembled. I've got several assembled already, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing. Here's the ones that I have assembled, and you can see I've got a lot of them. And so these are the ones that I have pre-assembled before we started the video. We are going to assemble some just so you'll have an idea of how to assemble them. I'll bring some in, but I've got several of these done. We have annually, our town has a car show that we have all these classic cars and muscle cars and trucks and all these things that come in. And I'm just going to talk through it as I'm assembling this, and you can watch me assemble. Anyway, my sister, first of all, came and helped me organize some things in my craft room the other day. And we were talking about how many cards I have. And she's like, oh, I need to go and sell them at the car show. Because her son rents a booth and you can sell anything in there. And she's like, I just need to take them and sell them. And I was like, oh yeah, we'll get them ready and we'll do that. And she said, oh my gosh, you know what you need to do? That car set, you need to make some of those car cards. She said, and that'll draw them in, then they can look at your other cards and sell them. So she had this harebrained idea that I should make a bunch of these. So I got started doing it, and I'm telling you what, it has taken me all day to get as far as I have gotten. So right now I am assembling the classic car and putting the wheels on it. I will talk you through it just a little bit. The wheels have some multiple layers to it, and so you just have to layer them up. I'm just dunking it in some glue there and then layering it up. But the tires are interesting on most of the vehicles because they do have the layers to them. So a couple things to note is you want to make sure you get your rear view mirror in before you glue in your seats and your back walls and all that and stuff. And you also want to remember to put your steering wheel in. Those are some things that I have a tendency to forget. And you've got some doorknobs too. You've got a lot of kind of accessory pieces and detail pieces that you'll add to it. This is kind of the underneath of the car, and I'm just going to get it laid down underneath there. And like the lights, and there's like, a lot of layers. There's some layering on the hubcaps and stuff like that. You've got layering on, some of the grills and stuff. They're just very detailed and really, really cool cars. So anyway, back to the story. So she said, yeah, I'll get those ready. And I said, I was thinking about it because she'd said the other day, and I said I ordered some of those sleeves so that we can package them nice and they'll stay nice. Because she was going to do it last year, and we kind of had a total washout during the car show. It's a kind of a long weekend, and it's a huge, huge event. Anyway, and so last year she didn't, and she's like, I want to take them and sell them. And I'm like, okay, because I just have way too many cards. If you can imagine, the volume of videos I do and the cards that I make, just trying to manage them and move them along can be quite a challenge in and of itself. So anyway, I've got the sleeves coming so that we can pack, all the cards up and get them all nice and ready. And, these are going to be like teaser cards, she said, that, we can set up and it will draw, people, and they'll see the cars, and then they'll want to come in and look at the cards. So that was kind of her thought process. Here I'm putting the rear view mirror on the top of the roof of the car. Anyway, so she's going to do that. What happens is all these men come into town with, all their muscle cars and their classic cars and their antique cars and, just tons. And of course their wives come with them, and generally they want to shop. And so there's all kinds of booths and stuff that the women can shop at. And then a lot of people in town will have rummages and different things like that. In fact, our church usually does. And the women that come with them in, they'll want to shop, and they'll do quite a bit of shopping and stuff while they're in town. So it'll be a perfect time to display the cards. And if, they kind of see the card that maybe represents their car, they might be interested. Now, there are a lot of these particular, the muscle car that's represented in this set the truck and then the classic car. There are a lot of those. You will see a lot of those cars in this car show. So I think it'll be pretty, they'll be pretty interested in the cards, I think. So that's why I just spent the day just die cutting out the cars, and then I die cut out enough of the kind of accessories to go with the cars so that I could get a few of them done, knowing that it's going to take me a while. Now, I only have a few more days that I can work on these before we actually, are gone for vacation, but I thought I could crank several of them out and have them ready. And then we'll actually get back before the car show starts, so I can crank out some more if I need to. But anyway, I just thought it would be fun. I thought it was a fun idea. And I told her, said she's a marketing genius. It was great of her to think of that, because I didn't even think of this set to bring it out to go along with the cards to kind of draw them in. But I think if she displays them and they get good traffic at their site, we'll probably get some of these sold, and maybe perhaps some of the other cards as well. So I'm just, this is the doorknob I'm sticking on there. And I'm telling you, there are some teeny weeny pieces. This doorknob is teeny weeny. And then the lights, you have, the kind of the chrome outline of the light, and then you've got the interior of the light. So there's really some great detail that makes this look very interesting. Now here's a little decorative piece to the back of the car. So this is the classic car. We've got it assembled. And I'm going to bring in, I had done all of the colors, and I had not done red for any of the cars, and I knew I wanted red. So you're getting to watch me assemble red for all three of the vehicles that I'm going to assemble on the video. Because I assembled the other colors off camera just because I knew I was going to want a lot of them, and you're not going to want to sit and watch me. Plus, I knew it would be incredibly lengthy. This video, before I sped it up and edited it, was over an hour anyway. And it was even an hour, and my camera died. So we're going to get toward the end, and we're not going to have everything. We're going to get so far. I think I'm ready to emboss a panel, and I go to my embossing to emboss, and then I come back, and I keep cranking. I'm still working, and I don't realize until later that my camera died, and so we don't have some footage, but we'll come back in at the end, and I'll show you all the cards, and we will have several that we will be working with. So this is the muscle car. We're getting the steering wheel laid down in it. And I think it actually is a little bit simpler than maybe the truck and the classic car. I think it's a little bit simpler. It goes together a little bit quicker. However, there are, I think, 14 and 15 dies in the sets anyway, so there are similar number in die pieces. But anyway, so I'm getting the rearview mirror, the steering wheel, the seat, and then kind of the inside shadow layer of the roof. And then we're going to get the, I think it's the wheels on this that are easier. They're just a simple wheel and then a simple hubcap. And so that it makes it a little bit easier as far as assembly. Where the other vehicles, I think their tires are all layered a little bit more than what the muscle car is. This set is by Mindy Eggen. She put this together, and it's really a fun set. I knew I had to have it when it came out, and I was glad that I had the opportunity to get all of it from Spellbinders. So, and you've just got teeny little bits and pieces here. And I think these are the headlights, and there are 4 on the muscle car. So you've got 2 larger ones that are in the forefront of the scene, and then 2 smaller ones that are in the back. And so you're just going to layer those up side by side, and then you'll bring some lights in and layer them up, and it'll just make it look all the more realistic. And I'm chasing them around on there. There are some little bitty bits. There's some side mirrors. The truck actually has mirrors for both sides of it, which is super fun. Now the muscle car just has the mirror for this side because you can't see it on the other side. And this bumper is you kind of got a couple of pieces to it as well. And then you've got some stripes for the for the top of the hood of the car. And so you can get those laid down. I think I'm adding the lights to the chrome fixtures right now. And we'll get those laid down on there. I'm actually going to run this the next day after I made it. I've been scheduling my channel very far out, and I realized I didn't have anything for tomorrow, so I'm like, I've got to get this video finished so I can actually run it tomorrow, but I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun video. So here's another layer to that tire, and you just kind of nuzzle that in there. I think there's a piece for the back as well. So I guess all the tires really have a lot of layers on them. But there we go. Now here are the stripes that are on the hood of the car. And it really adds nice detail. Now my mom had a green car like this, and I've got one of them die cut out, but I did not assemble it yet. She had a green one with a white top. It had white leather seats, and there were bucket seats that leaned forward. Anyway, here's the truck, and we're going to get its wheels laid on there. And then it has a white hubcap and then a metal or a silver hubcap for the truck. That's the way they've designed it. And the grill, you can put a dark piece behind the metal piece. And so I just took a darker color of red to kind of make it look shadowed. Here's the little steering wheel. All of them, the steering wheels are very similar. And then I think I'm putting the rear view mirror on. When I made this the first time, the very first video I made of it, I kept putting things down in the wrong order. So I was careful to make sure I put my rear view mirror in and my steering wheel in before I put the back of my truck. Now I am looking for the seat to the truck, and I'm like, I don't have it. I'm like, just assemble it. Then I realized I die cut it out in silver. But I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there once I realize that. I'm like, I'm going to put it in there. So here I am tucking it in. It should have went in before I put it together, but I'm going to go with it. At this point, I've assembled so many of those cars that I'm like, I'm just going to go with it. No one will notice. Now here is the grill. We're going to get it on there. And it has a bumper that has a couple of layers on it. And you've also got a headlight that you have to tuck in around there. I think when I assembled the other trucks, I laid that bumper, that two-piece bumper down first, and then put the grill, and then tuck that headlight in on that side there. It's kind of tight, but it's very realistic. Looks really cute. So my nephew has one of these trucks, and Pat's cousin has one of these trucks. In fact, the last video I did, I was actually making the truck for Pat's cousin. So now my husband, he had a 1973 Barracuda for many, many years. In fact, it was his first car, and he had it, until probably, I'd say he had it until probably 2001 when we built our new house and moved into it. He was like, I just keep moving this car along to each house and parking it in the garage, and he decided to get rid of it. There probably is a little bit of regret for that, but anyway, it was a fantastic show car. It was black, and it was, the underneath was completely painted candy brandy wine, and the engine was spotless. Of course, my husband's pretty spotless anyway, but anyway, it was a really neat car. And it had, not that my card people will know, but it had nitrous oxide on it for an extra boost of power, so that thing could really go. So fun fact to know. Anyway, he has talked about he's wanting to get a truck and tub it, which is kind of something that he has planned for retirement. And his cousin that lives in North Carolina is going to do the tubbing for him. But anyway, so I have had some experience with car shows and cars and all that, just to share a little bit of detail. Now here's some detail. Like this would be like the running board where you'd step in to get on the truck, I guess. And you could do it in the color of the truck, but I chose to use the metallic silver cardstock from Spellbinders. And this is just some decorative detail, and I'm adding some more of that metallic on there. I think the other trucks, I did like a different tone of the color of of the truck just to make it like shaded or shadowed or whatever. But on this one, I'm just going to do the metal. It'd be like metal, I don't know. And so here I'm just bringing in just all of the different ones that I've got, just kind of giving you a feel. We've got all of our red ones assembled now, and this is what I've got. I've got a lot of them. So it looks like I've got 10 there, and then I've got all those that have not been done. And I think I'll get maybe 9 done on the video. So here I'm bringing in the stencil, that goes, this is the Scenic Drive stencil that went along with the set. And I'm using tumbled glass, and I'm just laying it down. And then I'm going to use mustard seed for the next layer. And the stencil is dirty because I've done several of them, and then I decided I'll video one. So here's mustard seed, and then I'm going to use, marmalade. I'm using the marmalade from the Distressed Oxide. And then I think I bring in the crackling campfire for the sun. Now this one, you got to hold that little, the next one, I think. One of them you've got to hold the center down because it'll move on you. So I did shabby shutters, and I'm doing mowed lawn. Anyway, one of those centerpieces you have to hold down so it doesn't move on you, but. And then we're bringing in the gray. Oh, gosh, I can't think of what it's called. Lost Shadow for this. And that's what I did on all the stencils. And I did several of them. And so here you can see I've got several of them done. I used scraps and just did a variety of sizes. And we're just going to start assembling. I'm going to use the stencil and just start assembling some of these. You get, for this, it really is, it's a production line. I mean, I'm trying to do a bunch of these, so I'm just like cranking them out, not probably spending as much time on them as I might on when I'm doing just 2 cards or whatever. Like, not this one, but a couple of them, I wish I would have embossed the panels because I showed a little bit more of the base panel than, but for this one, you're just showing the edge, so I wasn't really too concerned about it, and I think it turns out fine. But for the ones that show a little bit more of that, cardstock, I probably should have embossed it and just added a little bit of detail. I did emboss a couple of them once I realized my camera stopped, and I just kind of slowed down a little bit and did some embossing. But so we've got a great classic car with a scene in the background, and I'm going to get them all laid down. I won't lay the sentiments down as we go because I'm kind of doing the production line. I'm getting the base layers and the car laid down, and then I'll bring the sentiments in. I've already die cut the sentiments in advance, and I've used a gray and a black for that because I thought these are manly cards. We're going to use some manly type things, so that's what I did with it. Now this one, I'm just cutting it down to try and make it a little bit more even. And then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to manage the panel. This is probably the one that I should have embossed around the layer that I add to it. And I'm trying to decide what measurements I want to use. And then I just decided, just wing it. And, you'll lay a panel down and figure out how to make it work. So like I said, really it was just a production line. So I'm trying to decide which car I want to lay on that particular scene. And I first grabbed this red one thinking I'm going to do that. And I think I changed because I think I decided I was going to use the red for this black speedometer, but then I go in a completely different direction with it. So so for this one, this is where I changed my mind. I've got the gray panel behind there, and I'm going to lay it down on there, and I'm going to bring in the yellow car. Now, this isn't the one. We only have a little bit of edge showing around this one. We could have embossed it and made it look a little bit neater, but I think it turns out fine in the end. We get that laid down on there. It helps to turn the A2 sides cards into landscape so that you have room for these cars. I'll do at least one of them portrait, and it'll hang off a little bit. So this one, it doesn't look too bad. We've got about, the measurements not right on it. We've got wider at the sides than we do the top, but it'll work out. It'll be fine. So I'm just kind of looking at the other stencil panels and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Now, this is the one with the blue truck and the stencil. that I wish I had embossed it, because I'll wind up kind of pushing it over to the left edge and having a bit of yellow sticking out there. And it would have looked nice to have it embossed, but I will put a sentiment there and kind of fill in some of that yellow area, and it'll work out just fine. So I just kind of ran my finger there. I thought, oh, I'll just put the sentiment up there, and we'll kind of fill in that area and kind of have the truck driving out of the scene is what I was thinking. And so we'll just get our blue truck laid down on there. And there we go. So I am just cranking them out. I'm like, okay, we'll just pile these up over here, and we're going to bring in the next one. Now here is the actual speedometer that is in the set. This is the Speedometer Etched is what it's called. And I'm popping out the pieces here. And as I was assembling the cars, I thought the red car would look nice on the till, I thought. And so I'm going to use this, and we'll bring the red car in. And I wish I had embossed this panel as well. I think it would have added some extra detail to it. So I'm going to assemble the speedometer. You basically have the, there's like 5 layers to the speedometer. You've got the back circle, then you've got your numbers, and then you've got the center circle, and then you have, and I'm going to assemble this wrong. I'm putting that down, and then I'm putting a button over the top of it, but you'll see me, I'll pull that off, lift the red thing up, lay the till down, and then switch them. And I think that's how it goes. And I have positioned this one to 55. I always think of that song, I Can't Drive 55. And so I made the speedometer 55. And this is fun for a birthday. If you have this set, you can do a birthday card and you could put it on their age. I did that for Pat's cousin for his birthday. So here I'm just kind of eyeballing it, seeing, I'm going to do landscape. And then I thought, I've got this dark till, I'll bring in a light till panel. And like I said, if I would have embossed this, I think it would have just added to the wow factor of the card. And then we're going to get this laid down on there. I think the red in the till looks good. I like the red speedometer with it. This winds up being a Happy Father's Day card. I took the sentiments that are included with the set, the classic sentiments, and I die cut them out all twice. I used black for the letters, and I used gray for the shadow. And I assembled all of them in advance and had them ready to go. And so then when my camera died and it was charging, I just started putting them together. I thought, I'm just going to put it together. And then when when I figure out what happened with the camera, I'll come back in and just show the cards is what I was planning to do. But fortunately, you get to see most of them assembled. You're not going to see me lay the sentiments down, and I am going to walk through them. So when I did the speedometer is when, actually it's this particular one, when I decide to lay it down, I'm going to emboss the panel that I lay it on. And I wind up not making a car with this one. I just make a speedometer with this one. And I put a congrats on it and just make it a fun card like that. It'd be fun if you were buying your kid a car and for their birthday or something, you could give them a congrats in the speedometer. That would be super fun. So I'm going to get this laid down on here. This is upside down, and I'm realizing it, so I'm going to spin it around and get it laid down on there. And we've got our speedometer assembled with the red and the black. I like it. So here I'm bringing in my card base, and I'm going to grab a panel that I'm going to lay it down. I thought, that'll look good on red. And so I'm like, I need to emboss this. This would look really good embossed. Well, first of all, I'm going to cut the card base down because it's off, and I realize that. And I'm thinking that I'll lay this down with the speedometer. And I was thinking I was going to lay a card with it, but then I decide I'm going to emboss it. And I decide that I'm not going to put a card with it. I'm just going to put the speedometer on it, and I think it'll make a cool card. So here we are. Camera died. We're back in. I'm showing you cards. So I've got a classic anniversary written on this particular one here. I've got best wishes on this one. Just trying to, here is the speedometer. I put congrats on it. And then here's one that I didn't glue down. So I'm going to take my glue and glue it down. And on this one, I just have a classic Father's Day. It's just the car, and it's just an embossed panel. And we'll get it laid down on there. I'm taking my own sweet time here. And I think it looks nice. It'd be nice for Father's Day. I did a couple of Father's Day cards. Here's the other Father's Day card. I've just put Happy Father's Day with a speedometer. We've got this one that says Birthday Wishes. And then we've got this other one that says Happy Birthday. And then I've got 4 other vehicles already assembled, ready to go. And then I have this stack of these. I don't know if we'll get them or not, but thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.